down to size, to size.
Before punk tore down the stage, before metal cranked the volume to 11, before grunge made flannel cool, there were kids in garages banging out raw, distorted noise with no rules, no polish, and no fear. These weren't industry darlings or polished performers. They were misfits, rebels, and outsiders.
I said I'm gonna buy my baby before I'm through.
Creating something loud, angry, and real. And they had no idea they were changing the future of music. Today, we're looking at 10 garage bands from the 1960s that unknowingly laid the groundwork for punk, metal, and grunge. And number one, without them, punk may never have even existed. In the shadow of the British invasion and the rise of psychedelia, another movement was bubbling just beneath the surface. Raw, aggressive, and unfiltered. Garage bands were forming all across the world. Cheap guitars, fuzz pedals, and amps that couldn't quite handle the volume were all they needed to make a racket that felt like a revolution. They didn't just play music, they made noise with purpose. Let's meet the bands who, whether they knew it or not, planted the seeds for decades of distortion. Number 10, the Standells. Formed in 1962 in Los Angeles, California. Long before punk claimed an attitude as its own, the Standells were already dripping with it. Formed in 1962, this LA-based band had a sneer in their delivery and a rawness in their sound that stood out even in the surf rock capital of the world. While the Beatles were charming audiences, the Standells were growling about dirty water and city grime. I said I'm going down, for all we can do is dream. Their stripped-down guitar tones and streetwise swagger made them pioneers of the kind of anti-establishment energy punk would later thrive on. Number 9. The Seeds. Formed 1965 in Los Angeles, California. The Seeds weren't about complexity. They were about feeling, repetition, raw grooves, and primal urgency. Sky Saxon's vocals were loose and chaotic, their riffs hypnotic and sparse. Formed in 1965, they created a sound that was minimal but powerful. Their DIY aesthetic, musically and visually, predated the punk ethic by a decade. They weren't chasing perfection. They were chasing truth through noise. Number 8. The Count 5. Formed in 1964 in San Jose, California. High school kids in Dracula capes. That's how the Count 5 rolled. Formed in 1964, they embraced theatricality before it was cool, and blasted through songs with buzzsaw guitars and unhinged energy. They weren't technically brilliant, but punk wasn't about technical skill. It was about attitude, and Count 5 had it in spades. I can't get your love, I can't get attraction. Even with just one album, their influence ran deep through garage punk and beyond. Number 7. The Litter. formed in 1966 in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
From her lips and then two hands, making rivers on frosted glass with fingertips and...
In 1966, the Litter showed up with heavy fuzz, pounding drums, and a whole lot of grit. They didn't chart big or go mainstream, but their songs sounded like a blueprint for garage punk and even early metal. With biting riffs and explosive energy, the Litter embodied the underground spirit that would echo through countless bands that came after. Their legacy? Proof that volume and conviction can be louder than fame. Number 6. The Shadows of Night, formed in 1964 in Chicago, Illinois. These Chicago boys weren't trying to be British, they were trying to beat them at their own game. Formed in 1964, the Shadows of Night took the bluesy grit of the Rolling Stones and filtered it through Midwest toughness. Their take on rock was fuzzier, dirtier, and more rebellious. They weren't just copying a sound, they were building something new. They showed American bands how to blend aggression with accessibility, a formula punk would later run with. Number 5. The 13th Floor Elevators, formed in 1965 in Austin, Texas. Formed in 1965 and led by the brilliant and troubled Rocky Erickson. The 13th Floor Elevators played like they were channeling spirits, chaotic, emotional, and unpredictable. While known for pioneering psychedelic rock, underneath the effects was a garage band with raw intensity. Their confrontational sound, unpolished production, and unhinged performances laid a foundation for punk's emotional honesty and grunge's rough edges. They were louder than the scene around them, and they liked it that way. Number 4. The Sonics, formed in 1960 in Tacoma, Washington. If you heard the Sonics without knowing the year, you'd swear it was recorded in the late 70s. Formed in 1960, they were decades ahead of their time. Their music was loud, distorted, and unapologetically aggressive, far more than what most 60s bands were doing. Songs like Strychnine and The Witch were proto-punk, proto-grunge, and proto-metal all rolled into one. Kurt Cobain listed them as a major influence, and once you hear them, it's easy to understand why. Number 3. The Music Machine, formed 1965 in Los Angeles, California. Black clothes, black gloves, and songs as cold and mechanical as their name. Formed in 1965, the Music Machine fused garage rock with a dark aesthetic that hinted at what punk and goth scenes would later embrace.
down to size, to size.
Their minimalistic arrangements, clipped vocals, and confrontational look were years ahead of their time. They didn't just sound different, they looked different, and punk never forgot that visual power mattered just as much as the sound. Number 2, The Monks, formed in 1964 in Germany. Take 5 American soldiers, send them to Germany, shave their heads like monks, give them distorted gear, and what do you get? One of the most radical garage bands of the 60s. Formed in 1964, the Monks rejected melody, embraced repetition, and sang about war, madness, and societal decay. Their only album, Black Monk Time, is now considered one of the earliest true punk records, released a full decade before the genre had a name. They were strange, confrontational, and decades ahead of everyone else. Number 1, The Stooges, formed 1967 in Ann Arbor, Michigan. No surprises here. Formed in 1967, the Stooges took everything raw and dangerous about garage rock and magnified it. They weren't just influenced by garage, they became its snarling, shirtless messiah. Led by Iggy Pop, they mixed violence, sexuality, noise, and nihilism into a package that scared critics and thrilled outcasts. They didn't just inspire punk, they enabled it. Ask any grunge icon or punk pioneer, they'll tell you the Stooges were the match that lit the fuse. So there you have it, 10 garage bands from the 60s who never set out to start a revolution, but did anyway. They didn't care about fame, they cared about volume, they cared about energy, they cared about making something real. And that spirit lives on in punk, in metal, in grunge, in every kid still banging away in a garage today. Did we leave out your favorite band that should have made the list? Drop it in the comments. And if you still believe music should be loud, rough, and real, smash that subscribe button and keep the vinyl spinning. Until next time, stay raw, stay rebellious, and stay classic.